He said PDA 1974 is not constitutional. Now, Mr. Speaker, that begs the question. Is he questioning the act of our Premier and the Prime Minister in recognizing the validity of PDA? Is he alleging that the Premier is doing something unconstitutional? That is very serious. And my question to him would be, NSUPP, are you going to take the Premier to task for doing something which, in your opinion, is unconstitutional? Petros is recognized as the gas aggregator for the supply and distribution of gas within Sarawak. But as for the export of gas, LNG, that is not clear. And there is also a promise by the Petronas that in future endeavor, they will try to seek cooperation or get Petros to join in. How binding is such a promise, Mr. Speaker? You are a lawyer, I'm a lawyer, there are many lawyers here. The promise of use my best endeavor to get you involved is so ambiguous that it's literally, well, amounts to nothing. Mr. Speaker, what perplexes me is that while on the one hand, the Honorable Premier has signed a memorandum of a joint declaration with the Prime Minister, acknowledging the validity of PDA 1974. There are still some sector in this House, someone in this House, I'll just point out, as recorded in the Hansard, Yang Berhormat from Kota Sentosa, who questioned, not only questioned, but who asserted that the PDA 1974 is not constitutional. It is recorded in the Hansard, I read it. It was reported in the newspaper this morning, I read it. He said PDA 1974 is not constitutional. Now, Mr. Speaker, that begs the question. Is he questioning the act of our Premier and the Prime Minister in recognizing the validity of PDA? Is he alleging that the Premier is doing something unconstitutional? That is very serious. And my question to him would be, NSUPP, are you going to take the Premier to task for doing something which, in your opinion, is unconstitutional? So these are questions that we ought to ask. Right? SUPP has been vocal for alleging that, asserting that the PDA 1974 is not a valid piece of legislation. Let's say for Kota Sentosa, I think I didn't see any statement made by the others. They have been very vocal, but after the event on Wednesday, the joint declaration, the rest of them are silent as mouse and not talk about it anymore. But Mr. Speaker, to me, I would like to state my position. To me, I acknowledge the effort of Yang Amat Berhormat, the Premier, in entering the negotiation for more oil and gas rights for Sarawak. He has made effort to get more for Sarawak, although I believe that he can do better. He can do better. All right? He can do better. I'll come to that later. But having said that, one must take note that when the Premier entered the ring for negotiation, when he entered the ring with his hands tied. With his hand tied. Why I say so? His hands were tied by the acts of the previous chief ministers. Way back in 1974. In 1974, in Parliament, it was the late Tun Tai Mahmud. He was the Minister for Usahaan, I think, the natural resource. He was the federal minister. He was the one who tabled the bill, Petroleum Development Bill. And in the debate in Parliament on that day, the Chief Minister, the then Chief Minister of Sarawak, Tun Yaakob, He was also a member of parliament. He attended the parliament and gave full support of the bill. And it was passed, and thereafter, not only the two of them has supported the bill in parliament, but in this house, some have alleged that the bill was never approved here. But Mr. Speaker, in fact, every year in our annual budget, there was an acknowledgement of the receipt, the proceed that we get from the PDA, 1974. Mr. Speaker,
I'm quite confused. I'm following your debate very closely, but I just want to ask, since you mentioned about Padungan and so Kota Sentosa and so on, what is your stand?
I'm stating my stand.
So you can say
you have to follow my argument first. You have to follow my argument. Then I'll come.
But I'm confused, as if you are not against the PDA constitutionally, or what is your view? Actually, I think you have to direct the one.
Yes, I'm directing. I'm addressing the chair, Mr. Speaker. If you look at our budget year in year out, all right, what we commonly call as royalties, all right, in our budget document, it is called what? It's not called royalties. It is called compensation in lieu of rights. All right, compensation in lieu of rights, or in lieu of gas rights, in lieu of oil rights. Therefore, what does it mean? It means that it is a compensation for you to give up your rights. Is that not the case? It's a compensation paid to Sarawak for you to give up your oil rights, for you to give up your gas rights. And that is the annual budget document since 1975, after the passing of the Act. After 1975, until last year, I think this year the same term will be used. Our rights in oil and gas has been acknowledged. But in 1974, the Sarawak government gave it up, and agreed to a compensation of 5%. So, Mr. Speaker, that's why I say, our Honourable Premier entered the ring for the negotiation with his hands tied by the act of his predecessors back in 1974. And therefore, legally speaking, I'm of the view that to now turn around and say that this is not a valid act would be quite a very stretched legal argument.
Okay, Yang Berhormat, Padungan, just to get it more clear, are you saying that the PDA 74 is constitutional?
My reading of the law that it is valid. It has been endorsed by this House, and it has been endorsed by the Premier. So how about you yourself, Mr. Deputy Speaker?
Well, if you ask my stance as a lawyer, okay, it's still open. I think what is legal and what is not actually is another aspect. But what is politically right and things like that is another aspect.
Yes. Mr.
So I just want to get myself not confused.
Different opinion, but at the end of the day, court will be the final arbitrator. All right, but if you want to see, you want to know more about what our stand is, well, it is all in this Rocket News publication, in our this issue Rocket publication. We are selling it at 3 ringgit per copy. For you, I'll give you free. You give me more time. Mr. Speaker, never mind, it's okay. Legally speaking, it will be a stretch argument, all right, to invalidate the whole PDA. But politically, we have advantage. Politically, the Premier has an advantage over Putrajaya. We all know that. One, because of the very fragmented political landscape in West Malaysia. And two, is we have a very accommodative Prime Minister who can accommodate the demands, who try to accommodate the demands from the Sarawak state. So, my suggestion is that whatever that was agreed This was not the first time it was agreed. This was not the first time, I'll put it again, I'll rephrase it. However, that was agreed 2 days ago. Was not the first time that such an agreement has been reached. And yet, after that, there are people like you who thinks that you should go to court to fight for to determine the validity of the act. Or like Kota Sentosa, who alleged that this is an unconstitutional act. This thing will never end. And this is going to hurt us. This is going to hurt not only Sarawak, but Malaysia, the economy. You see, the ConocoPhillips has been acceded from Sarawak. A 3.1 billion US investment has acceded. Why? Because of the uncertainty. Because of the uncertainty in law. Therefore, with our political advantage, I urge the Premier to push for equity participation in Petronas. Rather than, I'm not advocating for head-on collision. Petronas and Petros is a zero-sum game. At the end of the day, is my gain, your loss, your gain, my loss. It's a zero-sum game. But why not? Why not negotiate and push for equity participation? I have suggested in March, I have suggested a 30% equity participation in Petronas. That Sarawak be given 30% of Petronas share. In that way, given that Petronas share is almost 1 trillion, the global asset is almost 1 trillion.
You give way. You give. I'll let your time.
Okay,
stop.
Thank you, Member for Padungan. I'm just thinking. You remember you have mentioned before, you know, when 20% oil royalty will be given back to us. After all the hoo-ha, when Pakatan Harapan won the election, all those promises were not made. What makes you think that now, you know, you ask for 30%, we'll be able to get it? What makes you think that we'll be able to get 30%? Thank you.
Have you finished your question? These SUPP people, they have nothing better to ask. And they don't know what is a question and what is a suggestion and what is a promise. All right? My 30% equity participation is a suggestion. I made the suggestion is for the government, the state government, to proceed to think whether 30% equity participation is enough or too much. If it's too much, you go for lesser. If it's too little, not sufficient, you ask for more participation. That is a suggestion. As for the promise, Marathon, please respect the floor. All right.
Listen.
As for the, if you ask the question, you expect the answer. As for the question of 20% oil royalty promise, that was on the premise that the state government take over the burden, the financial burden of education and healthcare for Sarawak. That was made. You can check with our promises during the 2 elections ago, but the state government refused to take up the financial obligation. So, but if the SUPP continues to live in the past, let it be. Let them become history. Let them be history. All right, Mr.
You
Speaker.
You have barely 2 minutes.
Right.
You have another interjection here.
Mr. Speaker, you can I get more some extension of time? Yeah, you can, yeah.
Thank you. Let me ask him this. Thank you, YB Padungan. Thank you. Yeah, it's easy. All you need to do is continue to give us the money that you give us for education and health. Every year, the federal government give us a budget for education and health. Continue to give us that. We have 15 billion last year, and we can do better with that.
Your clarification, your point for clarification.
That's right. That's my question. Yeah, that's my question to
Mr.
him.
Speaker, this guy up there a bit short circuit, so never mind. We don't answer the question. I don't understand the question.
Please withdraw that part.
Okay, all right. He asked an incongruous question. He doesn't ask question. he come out and off the tangent and go on his own on speech. So never mind. Can I not be disturbed by such question of that doesn't make sense?
I add up another 2 minutes for you.
5 minutes.
Another 2 minutes.
5 minutes. There's a point of order.
No, I think it's about 2 minutes.
No. The Deputy Speaker doesn't allow you. So never mind. Let me continue. Let me continue with what I want to say. Mr. Speaker.
Interjection by Kota Sentosa. Do you take it?
No, I won't.
I think it's important because your name is...
Okay, all right. I'll take it. Stop the time.
Dato' Speaker, I think I'm raising a point of order under Standing Order 32(1) because the member from Padungan is going on a political charade. Because basically, when you talk about a debate, he is making proposals, suggestions, like he is the authority on the matter. And I don't think that is appropriate because...
Got your point.
Because
I think
that is not allowed.
He can continue. I got a point.
Mr. Speaker, what is joke? What an interjection there is a joke. 32(1), irrelevant matter. Are you saying that the oil and gas right is irrelevant? Okay, all right. Tambah 2 minit lagi. All right, Mr. Speaker, I think I make the suggestion is for the government of the state of Sarawak to ponder upon it. I've also made the suggestion in Parliament. So it should be a G2G. It should be a G2G negotiation on that, and I do not advocate for head-on collision in taking the matter to court, because in court any court action, it is either you win all or you lose all. All right, there's a they were sour relationship.
YB Padungan.
Yes,
because I think it's the concern of everybody, this point of PDA and as well as Sarawak laws, yeah, like DGO and so on.
Yeah.
From your argument, for the sake of everybody, so that they can understand your argument better, are you saying PDA 74 is constitutional? That's one. But do you realize, as Lord Denning says, Lord Denning, former master of the rolls in England,
Mr. Speaker, the time is
legal principle does not always run along political reality. Okay?
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, I will not be the final arbiter on whether an act is constitutional or not constitutional. Like what you have said just now, the court is the final arbiter on whether a law is constitutional or not constitutional. You see, I've laid down the factors that points to its validity. One, it was a Sarawak federal minister from Sarawak who tabled the bill. It was the then Sarawak's chief minister who supported the bill. And every year, this Dun proved the compensation in lieu of rice that was paid to Sarawak.
Okay, that's what I mean. Legally, do you agree?
That factors compromise our argument that this is an invalid law. It was properly passed in Parliament. All right, I'll just state for the record. All right, the DAP Sarawak stand. Okay, for the record, DAP Sarawak stand. We support any avenue of the state government to get more revenue for the state government, be it through Petronas, through whatever this more federal allocation. We support. We never speak against that. All right, let it be clear. But our role here is to provide the oversight on how the money is going to be spent, to provide the check and balance, as all opposition all over the world, their role is. Even for Singapore, the PAP, People's Action Party, a political governing ruling party that is renowned for its high efficiency, for its transparency and corruption clean. There, in the recently concluded election, there is still 10% of the seats won by the opposition the people still believe that there should be at least the amount of opposition to provide an effective check and balance, not a 20-2 situation. Mr. Speaker, you cannot, because you don't ask proper question. That's why, Mr. Speaker, we are concerned. We are concerned.
Why not give him the last chance, please?
Okay, give me 2 more minutes. All right. Okay, no problem.
I add up 1 more minute.
One more question.
Okay, make sure you ask proper question.
Oh, that's very generous of you, YB Padungan.
Yeah, of course.
Yes. Hey, don't rush. You got the clock is stopped. I think you better ask the federal government, because in Sarawak, we not only have 15 billion from last year, we have
Mr.
our
Speaker,
sovereign
that
funds.
obviously is not a question.
And,
He
a
doesn't
question.
even understand what is the question
your
and what is the
point and
statement.
Federal government. The
So
federal
you ask him to sit
government.
down, shut his mic. May I continue? Thank you, Mr. Speaker. May I continue? Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, that's why we are concerned of how this government spend the money. Yesterday, we had a supplementary supply bill. 100 million goes to the traveling expenses of our Premier. That is scary. And
I think that last part you better withdraw, that last part.
huh?
That last part you better withdraw, because
scary.
there is no correlation yet.
That's scary.
Unless you put the grounds and things like that beforehand. Otherwise you'll be hanging.
Okay,
the last time,
right,
please withdraw
right.
that part.
I think spending 100 million to travel overseas, I think that is extravagant. That's too extravagant. All right. Last year we have seen Minister for Local Housing, local government, seeking supplementary supply, 3 million to travel overseas, purportedly to be for study trip, and some overseas study. But at the end of the day, I challenge: what have you studied? What have you learned? Nothing come out of it. And even worse, Mr. Speaker, when YB for putting the question, asking for the expenditure
I think you don't raise it up.
of the overseas trips.
It has been ruled.
That was rule. Her question was rejected.
I know.
Her question was rejected because it contravened public policy. So, my question is, Mr. Speaker, what contravenes public policy? The act of asking the question is contravening public policy, or the act of spending too much money to go overseas contravening public policy?
I think we have been intimated. Let me clarify before you stop. I think it has been intimated to us that is in the interest of in the name of public interest not to disclose because of many reasons, security and things like that, confidentiality and things like that. So that question was disallowed, that you cannot raise that one anymore under the order.
Hey, don't treat us like 3-year-old kids. We are not asking for the itinerary of the Premier. That you must keep secret. That is fine. But we are asking for those. She is asking for the past 5 years. The expenses for the first past 5 years for overseas trips of the minister and the deputy minister, and that you cannot disclose. That has nothing to do with security. That has everything to do with, you know, that had the rakyat know how much you spend, you cannot answer and justify that expenses.
I think that this allowing of the question was due to public interest not to disclose, and because of public policy in the term that we have procedures and processes, the audit, the ombudsman, the PAC, things like that, to observe, and things like 5 years, so voluminous and things like that, they have no reason to give it up just like that. Plus other features of confidentiality
Mr. Speaker,
of information, things like that. You see,
how I wish I could be convinced, but absolutely cannot convince me.
It's not as you ask that question so casually for 5 years, and that's quite the ministry, whatever concern.
Go and dig out the record. We are in the digital
I'm answering
era.
on behalf of the administration of this.
With the right button and the right question. Mr. Speaker. Hey, Mr. Speaker, let me.
Your time is up.
Huh? You took out my time, so give me more time, please.
I give you one. Okay, one more minute.
One more minute. And then, so recently there was an announcement. That there will be a new Stutong Link Road from 1TJ to TT3, a 2-kilometer road expansion in the city of Kuching, and the purported allocation for the 2-kilometer road is 200 million. 200 million, Mr. Speaker. How do you justify that? So therefore, I think...
What is that? What is that? 200 billion?
200 million.
For
2-kilometer road expansion work. How do you justify the Stutong Link Road? Alright, if you are interested to bid for the contract, there is... Mr. Speaker, lastly, I would like to put on record my concern about the current ART project. I was informed that through the answers that the project has been delayed, is behind schedule by 3%. There was an answer given to Batu Lintang. Normally, when projects are delayed, it comes with cost overrun. That is the norms. All right. May I put in a question now today, here in my debate, that what is the cost, original estimated cost for construction of the ART, each individual red line, yellow line, green line, and whether there are cost overrun up to this stage now. And lastly, Mr. Speaker, I would like to place on record also my objection to construct the new airport and the deep sea port. The new airport and deep sea port, that is our concern, because we don't know. Why we object? Because we don't know how much the cost is. Our Premier just made the announcement, and billions and billions and billions and will be allocated. All right, so there must be a proper feasibility study and presented in this Dune. Because
you got a point. That's your last point. Sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Although you interfere a lot, but never mind, it's okay. If you want a copy of my rocket publication, I can pass it to you later.
No thanks.
No thanks. All right.